Greetings one and all, this is Lloyd Brown and welcome social media family to my vlog. Today the 3rd of February 2018, Saturday afternoon. Yeah, we are make soup. Soup is the order of the day because outside is looking kind of grey, it's looking kind of damp. Yeah. When it wet it's slippery, yeah. When it damp it damp, yeah. If you don't mind you will tumble down. Take caution on the ground. Whoa, I say caution. The road is wet. Yeah, man, Bob Marley. From the tribe of Joseph and another person from the tribe of Joseph who I'm going to talk about today. But first of all, I want to big up Ragga P and Chawa Radio for inspiring me to do this video. Well, not so much of an inspiration, but a reminder because obviously, the Crown Prince of Reggae music, Dennis Emmanuel Brown's Earth Strong, had just passed. And I completely forgot because I had my own things doing. So, while I was sitting here just chilling, listening to Ragga P on Chawa Radio, what I was doing, I was basically clearing out my bathroom, i.e. pack of toilet paper, because if the music business failed, I go and sell toilet paper. You know why? Because everybody needs toilet paper. And contrary to popular belief, my doo-doo stinks too. Like everyone else's. You know what I mean? So I was clearing that out to basically make way for a flat pack bathroom cabinet. And I don't know about you, but I just find putting flat pack furniture together so therapeutic. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the finished article. There you go. There you go. Proper things. Proper things. So it's all done. But while I was doing all of that, I was listening to Ragga P's show, done a splendid tribute to Dennis Emmanuel Brown. And some of the songs I had in mind, he basically played it. And there was one tune he played which I absolutely love from the time I used to be a DJ on sound systems. And the tune goes, yes, you're running and you're running around. Dum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Girl, I wish you lots of love. Whoa, boom tune that I haven't heard that tune played in ages. Seriously, and I listen to the radio, I listen to different stations. Hadn't heard that song played in a long time. So big up Ragga P and big up all at Chawa Radio. So here I am. I want to do, well, I don't even want to do, I am going to do a tribute to Dennis Emmanuel Brown. And it's easy to play Dennis Brown songs from start to finish, or pick out the best Dennis Brown tunes that you personally like and what have you. I can do that. But it's not about his music what I want to talk about. It's not about his music that I really want to give a tribute. What I really want to give a tribute to in regards to Dennis Emmanuel Brown is not just his music, it's his influence. And when I say influence, I'm not just talking about, you know, some of a generation of reggae music lovers. I'm talking about 2-3 generations of reggae music lovers. Some of the biggest artists on the planet right about now was influenced by Dennis Brown. Now, I don't think Maxi Priest is going to mind me tell you this, but there are some Saxon tapes around. If you listen to Maxi Priest back in the day, he wasn't singing like how he's singing now, right? He was singing just like Dennis Emmanuel Brown. I shit you not. Seriously. So if you dig deep and go into certain archives of Saxon's sound tapes and you hear Maxi Priest singing, he was singing like Dennis Emmanuel Brown. And so was a lot of other people. I was singing like Dennis Emmanuel Brown. Luciano, you name it, to the point where it's kind of easy to tell you who was not influenced by Dennis Brown more than who was. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's his influence. And I'm going to tell you how much that brother influenced me in growing up. Now, in, I think it was the mid-70s, right? This was way after No Man is an Island, okay? So for me, my real introduction to Dennis Brown was on an album called Wolves and Leopards. And you got to remember, this is pre-CD, this is pre-MP3, this is pre-internet, it's pre all of that. It's Blackboard and chalk days and abacus days, right? So when I heard that album, Wolves and Leopards, I don't know, man. It's like that album just done something to me. It just stopped me in my tracks and made me really look at reggae music in a different way altogether. Because here was someone that was singing about love, singing about the struggles, singing about unity, singing about humankind, singing about humanity in such a way that it was just so melodic across all the subject matters that his voice was just beguiling to me, man. And the unique thing that I later discovered about Dennis was that his songs did not have much harmonies to them. So I find myself, sorry, excuse me. Yes, I slurped my tea, live with it. I found myself listening to Dennis Brown songs and harmonizing to them, just naturally harmonizing to them, because Dennis had so much melody in him, even with covers that he basically sang, you know, Wichita Lineman and Message to Martha and so many tunes. There's just so many. I can't even go into the tunes, but his influence towards me was in regards of a technical level of harmonizing with his melodies and just learning how to harmonize. I learned how to harmonize on Dennis Brown tunes, no other tunes, because certain other artists had, you know, banks of harmonies on top of their vocals and stuff like that. But whereas with Dennis, he didn't. So I learned a lot of him through that. And the next touchstone that emitted from Dennis Brown was when I was in Jamaica for the first time. And I saw Dennis Brown on a show called Where It's At, which is basically the Jamaican equivalent to Top of the Pops over here. And like I said, we had no black culture highlighted in the media them time there. You get what I'm saying? So to go to Jamaica and hear reggae music playing loud and free and what have you, and then see the artists that we used to listen to on a 7-inch or a 12-inch 45 and see the man them performing, Big Youth and Dennis and all those other artists of the day, it was just a culture shock for me. And Dennis was just an artist that stood out more than even Bob. You know, Bob stood out on his own, in his own way, but Dennis had a more, I don't want to say commercial, but he had a more universal vibe about him in relation to his vocals. His vocals was just so beguiling. It was just like, it was like massaging my ears every time I heard it. And I know I'm not the only person, because if everybody else in the music fraternity, in the reggae music fraternity, cites Dennis Brown as an influence, you know, there are people that actually sounds note for note for note for note like Dennis Brown in 2018. You got people like Chester Miller, right? If you listen to that brother, he just sounds like Dennis Brown. Note for note for note for note. That's why I'm talking about the influence of the brother and how much he has affected and effected the way how music, reggae music, has been performed today, to this very day. That's why it is important to remember the man, you know. And I can't believe it's 19 years, it's nearly 20 years since he's passed. I can't believe that. But for me, Dennis was like integral to my musical development. And I can only go by albums because there's just too much singles. But for me, Wolves and Leopards was definitely the first album. And the next 3 albums, I have to say, were the albums that defined him at being at the top of his game, to me, personally speaking, right? And the first album was when he was signed to A&M Records. Now, A&M Records was owned by Herb Alpert. If you don't know who Herb Alpert is was a famous trumpeter. And he had a band called the Tijuana Brass. And Dennis was signed to that label. And he had people like Sting on that label as well. Do you know what I mean? So that was the gravity of the situation when Dennis Brown got signed. So you know I'm kind of leaning into Love Has Found Its Way. Love Has Found Its Way for me was the album that really defined him at the top of his game as a vocalist. And beautiful tracks, but some of them produced by the great Father Willie Lindo. And he had the best musicians, even the harmony singers. You had BVs from JC Lodge, Pam Hall, Cynthia Slosh. When you got those ladies decorating your vocals, man, nobody can talk to me and tell me, say, yo, that's off key or that's below par. Come on now. So that was established to me. And then what was the other album? Foul Play. Foul Play was the next album that kind of maintained it for me. And the one track that I take from that album forever has to be If I Had the World, I give it to you, girl. Dun, dun, dun. Bridget, when I hear that song, I don't mind telling you, it's like tears well up in my eyes, man. Tears well up because I can feel where he's coming from with that. If I had the world, I'll give it all to you. You know, and what was the next album? The Prophet Rides Again. Do 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 do. Coming up. Do 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 do. I'm a coming home. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, man. you know when music blows your mind? That's what Dennis Brown does to me with those three albums. Now I'm going to say something that might seem controversial, but this is just my opinion. It's my opinion and I have a right to my opinion. I personally think that when Dennis left A&M and he was basically voicing for Jammies, I personally think that the best of Dennis wasn't really captured by Jammies. That's just my opinion. It's just my humble opinion. Do you know what I mean? You know, from Joe Gibbs right through to A&M, those were the golden years for me where Dennis Brown was concerned. And when I saw artists like Dennis Brown, Sugar Minott, Gregory Isaacs, Black Slate, Janet Kay, Ken Booth, and all those artists maintain their standard and achieve national chart success, that told me that's the direction I need to go. If I don't reach those heights, I need to maintain that standard. And I don't care if it's not a #1 tune or people ain't playing it on the radio or people bad mind me and no one play my tune them. At least I have the tunes them made and it's a legacy. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't make tunes, we don't make tunes that have #1 chart positions. It's not like, you know, it's not like now where people's making tunes to kind of, you know, hype up and get the biggest thing, get the biggest file, get the biggest amount of likes. And it wasn't like that. You know, back in the day we was making tunes because we loved the tunes. Yes, we get rip off by producers and what have you. But all in all, that's why we made tunes, because of the love for the music and the quality of the music and the rudiments of the music. Now I can go on and on and on and on, but I'm going to leave it up to you, for you guys to tell me what time in your life Dennis Brown impacted your life. You don't have to be an artist to tell me, just be, you know, just anyone. It's open to anyone. Let me know what really influenced you where Dennis Brown was concerned. What stage of your life, what albums, what singles, you know. Did Dennis Brown help Did some of Dennis Brown's songs help you get over a certain time? Did you celebrate a time with Dennis Brown songs? Please, I'm open to some dialogue. Let me know, because I could talk about Dennis Brown for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and days and days and days and days and days. But I'm only going to give you 15 plus minutes. So that's my tribute to Dennis Brown. Dennis Emmanuel Brown, thank you so much for the music. Thank you so much for your influence, more importantly. You know what I mean? So that we can carry off a song that's not off key by your standards. So bless your heart and many thanks. And as always, people, thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. And you don't know the coup. People, please abstain from foolishness, even if it's your own. Abstain from that. And until I catch you on the next one, stay blessed. Girl, I got a date. Oh, and I can't stay late. I was trying to round it off nicely, but I'm failing. Anyway, stay blessed. My God.